for Mechiacha Munina. Welcome back to another show. This is the Political Hub Show right here on Ghana Talks Radio, and I'm your only host. What I say, the name is Rosella Baby. I would love to send warm greetings to management for always holding us down right here, and also to my spiritual father, Bishop Kobnesiam of Ajagraja Movement, and all members of the movement. Greetings from the studios of Anya to you wherever you are. We are right here in our studios at Anya. That's Ghana Talks Radio. You can follow us on all our social media at Ghana Talks Radio. It's one word. Search us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Trends, TikTok, whatever. We are there to serve you the juices when it comes to, music, when it comes to news, when it comes to articles. Find us right here, www.GhanaTalksRadio.com. Welcome back to another exciting moment right here on the Political Hub Show. It's always a pleasure anytime, I meet people for us to discuss what is actually happening in our country and as a nation. Of course, today my guest, Makosa, will join me. And, on Monday, we spoke about some issues that has to do with Bank of Ghana governor, his response that he gave to protesters. And, of course, we also touch on what is happening in Israel. Now, I've done a research, and actually, we're going to let you understand what is actually happening in Israel and the Palestinians. The war didn't start today. It started we will give you the breakdown today on today's program, so don't go anywhere. And also we have some MPP members, or those who are actually in the government, who are Penyufono in the MPP. Two of them have spoken about the protest that went on, and they think it was unnecessary. That is the country that we find ourselves in. When we come back, we'll move into the main show. Stick and stay. It's your girl Rosella Baby. Don't go anywhere.
Every occasion demands the company of good music that fits the purpose. At GTR Sounds, we understand your need to create just the right atmosphere for your wedding or engagement, party, funeral, crusade, political campaign or rally, or just any other event, as well as executive and corporate functions. With our modern and high-quality spinning machines, mixers, microphones, and power amplifiers, binary speakers, and subs, we offer the highest of sound quality and music play at events and functions. At GTR Sounds, we have a team of seasoned and highly experienced sound engineers who understand just the right choice of music for your event. Locate our studios at Aponchi Hotel in Anya or call our numbers 054-8522-897 or 027-3363-973. You can also reach via our email sounds@GhanaTalksRadio.com. At GTR Sounds, we take care of your event.
Show. If you just joined us, this is the Political Hub Show right here on Ghana Talks Radio. And on this show, we do everything politics. We give you the facts. We give you as it is, unquoted, undiluted and unfiltered. We give it to you as it is. Now, last week, The team was able to join the protesters at Circle, and physically were able to interact with people on grounds, and you could see what almost everyone that we've interviewed is saying. They were all expressing their disappointment in the current government, and nobody was asking for too much. What most people are, like 99.9 Ghanaians, are asking for is fairness when it comes to our health sector, when it comes to our food, when it comes to our good roads, when it comes to better education for our kids. That is all what the Ghanaian people are asking for. You promise us roads, you promise us good infrastructure, and in 7 years, what we are seeing is deterioration of conditions that the NPP government, came to meet. School feeding are bobo, roads are bobo. The poor conditions of our roads have killed more Ghanaians than we can ever count. The poor conditions of food in the secondary schools and in primaries is causing more harm than good. And we can't seem to understand why this government is the government who has earned so much money, yet so little to show for. Yenina ye waha, ana do di bola so, and answer do she bola so. The house help for me face kabi, and those people were arrested and were tried. Yenina ye ni bibi sa start with what is happening with Bank of Ghana governor. It started bisa wa Ken Oforeta eso ankosiaga. Now this Mr. Alfred, I say enya me wanwa say empenyufo bi sa me ba out Alfred Thompson. Aba out abe kasa in Singapore kra sa who use tissue kra utia. Opeso kire say oman mu hanom no yenya nema bi free. What dey yen kotie de okan.
I went to about 3 or 4 different countries.
Which countries?
4 or 5, 3 or 4 different countries.
If you don't tell us, how would we?
Okay. Don't worry. When I went, Singapore is included. Even tissue paper, when they give it to you, they charge you. Tissue paper that they use.
What's the point of this consideration?
I'm telling you that they charge to every single thing. We are lucky. We have got so many things for granted. And we've taken it to the extent that we feel that everything is just let us go to the streets and show that we are not happy with this. Let us get the crowd, and it means that yes, that is it. I traveled recently, and when I saw some of the things going out in different places, I went to about 3 or 4 different countries.
Which countries?
4 or 5, 3 or 4 different countries.
If you don't tell us, how would we?
Okay. Don't worry. When I went, Singapore is included.
So if you watch the video or if you listen to what he's saying, say, even in Ghana here, we are doing way better, and things are not being charged as it is supposed to be charged. And so say we are privileged as Ghanaians. Now, I'm not really shocked by his statement, because sikano ede odibi sikano filibi intinyama bisano, it is none of their concern. Or adena yokosono and tacheno. It is an ebeba. Now when we the Occupy Ghana group or association has come out with a letter or with a communique, and it reads, "Police obey me the autoswa so that me kinda na me call for no etimi a follow." The heading is Democracy Hub announces December #Occupy Jubilee House #Just Resign protest. Now it is Accra, Ghana, in quotes, Monday 9th October 2023. Democracy Hub, the convener of the Fix the Country movement and Occupy Jubilee House protest, wishes to notify the public of its intention to hold a picket event this December from December 1st to 31st. It means they are using the whole of December to do this protest. Now, this is the purpose. Democracy Hub believes that the president's stewardship of this country demonstrates incompetence, a lack of integrity, routine abuse of power, and greed. We are prepared by the high levels of persistent unemployment among the youth and the level of economic mismanagement that has jeopardized the future of the young people, as well as pushed nearly 1 million Ghanaians into poverty. We are further concerned about the deteriorating press freedom, external judicial killings, and persecution of activists calling for the democratic reforms. Now, what this part is trying to say is the reason why they are moving on to have this demo or protest for a whole month, that is in December. First of all, they are calling for the resignation of the president. It means they want to impeach the president of Ghana. Yeah, he can be forced to step down. And with facts now almost stating it, it's all clear and real. The people of the country of Ghana are just moving backwards into poverty. It was even better during the time Mahama was around. Big up to yourself, Money Power. You are doing the watching of a Jagraja movement. Big ups. Also, I said the pocket themed hashtag Occupy Jubilee House and Just Resign will call on the president of Ghana to resign immediately or be impeached by parliament. We demand the urgent prosecution of corrupt officials, including persons in the president's family and inner circle who have contributed to what has been described by the former cabinet minister as friends, family, and concubines government. And we keep on seeing this. We keep on seeing this. And the president's daughter is in charge of art and what do yeah and so a bridge as no painting here in honor of their family. Meaning there's a lady no or be in charge of art. Music meaning the and of course, the president's cousin, the financial minister. This government has been surrendered by friends and family, and that is where we are today. Let us continue. The protest will also serve to educate Ghanaians on our enduring advocacy for a new constitution for a new generation. You see, this government needs a policy where we call the 10-year plan. Or we call it the development plan for the country. Or parliament will vote into it. Say, within the span of 10 years, we are supposed to do A, B, C. And the government be a babet now to be as a one completing those projects. I want to mean from. That is what other countries, America will be, UK will be, all these countries, we need to have a developmental plan as a nation. But because of Bibini, person risk on persons are than the baby. So government will be a person or formats. The pickets will be held at the Jubilee House, especially at the publicly accessible side facing Liberation Street. Guidelines. Democracy Hub pledges to establish and publish extensive picketing guidance to ensure a smooth and peaceful event. Informational sections will be conducted to educate the public about these guidelines and further information. Now, this has risen a whole lot of conversation on Twitter, and people are asking, okay, we agree that the Ghanaian people are angry and we want justice. We want things to be done the right way. But December, the whole December that we have all the chilling in the world in Ghana. December to remember Ghana is the hub of December to remember, when Ghanaians are chilling day and night, left, right, center. Are you guys going to get the effect that you are looking for? Doing this a whole of, it means from 1st to 31st. Let's say there be a more protest. People are asking and people are talking, is this going to be possible? And that's raising up a whole lot of conversation on Twitter. Personally, I feel it's too much. You can select days in December and do that. But using a whole month, well, let's keep our fingers crossed and see what will happen. Now, y'all remember over the weekend the attack on UTV, that has to do with A+. Now, A+, we all know, or if you don't know, is one of the strongest members of the NPP. Or campaigning Nanado Pa during time Mahama Siso. A+ was a loud voice. So see, NPP for Kasa say he needs to render an apology for tearing their communique on national television. Now, this is a video by Omar Hene Kwabna Sante. Okasa Bibre say it's uncultured and uncalled for on the part of the TV station and A+ for the actions. No, yeah, you know. Yonko tie the Omar Hene Kwabna Asante ekai.
I'll be measured, but I think we should lay the facts bare. Me cried, you say me ABTS.
Yeah.
So I was really not on top of the discussion.
And of course, we'll break home.
Yes, until Jubilee and Nano Pay. When on my show, I gathered certain facts.
Details. Okay.
Yeah. And I want to ask if the New Patriotic Party, Etro Krata,
yes,
Ebre UTV4, Semujumedia Mudino, Omu New Patriotic Party for Adwinimuno, Omujidi se, Emu Rem na Etusin, and Omu so Adwinimuno, there's a digression from maybe Monkomo be a Modica and the other two about thing that say Jumedi we say there. Say New Patriotic Party for Chirosa Krata and the bre that media entity. Why? Is it a crime? Is it taboo? Is it taboo? And somehow, and I'm learning that a panel member on that show for a panel life, the MPP actual UTV management, you know, a panel member picked the at the end live at the team live program full glare, and as we speak, per my checks, there is no apology from management of UTV to the New Patriotic Party. Number two, Obi, and then I'm Obi the program content. You can decide to do whatever content, whereas it falls within Ghana, America, and trash. But I think the last time I checked, the program clearly, it's basically words are unprintable. Very, very unprintable words. Very unprintable words. And you know why I'm worried? Say, UTV Trasi, catch there, say, Mantia 3x4, you know, MPP4 so called. If you've entered UTV before, the channels that you go through before you get to the studio, it's me, Baby William Saab, Senko, Kotina, me, if I'm a host of that program, it will be difficult for me to come back up to that show again.
Because of the security breach?
Of course. Because there are certain barriers. So the worst is that, but the worst, Senate panel members, nobody say him now. The worst should be a certain force. I bet me breach all these security points, no. I be attack a panel and a journalist. So I think that the management of UTV, in all humility, should explain the matters further. Because media, it's difficult to even understand how it doesn't make the place a safe environment. Again, Now first, me say no correct. Management should come and explain why on live TV, because we are talking about professionalism, the job that we do. It a whole political party, let him. It was not addressed to that person. But the person had the courage to sit on your platform and or take rata.
Okay, for that was Mr. Ohene Kwabena Asante. And media do kind of the Fembino no crack a room because Mihone said the actions of Kwame Plus was a bit too extreme. But like I said on Monday, there is frustration in the system. Or you know what they said the MPPC cano when they be, but yenim said the way I will campaign more the scano it be a found sassy. So that is the story that has to do with Omahene, responding to the actions of A+ and demanding that he apologizes. Your guest but join you soon, but before say your best friend Simono, Mami hear me last story now no sombrana on fa on no so ideas sembra. Now me catch almost say I have gone to do research and actually found a very explained and detailed video on what is actually happening in the Israel-Palestine war currently. And it opens your mind to understand it very well. It comes not be today. It's been years. This war or this thing that is happening currently, I take a lot of lives already. Now, Osha, a very pathetic, yakakra. People losing their husbands, people losing their wives due to this conflict that has been there since generations, and there has been a spark at the moment. This is a video to explain to you in details what is actually going on in Israel and Palestine. Stick and stay, don't go anywhere. Take your time and watch. Just follow us. You better dive into it and discuss.
The Israeli occupation. Israel, the world's only Jewish state, located east of the Mediterranean Sea, and Palestine, the territory of the Arab population that hails from the Israel-controlled land, have long been known for their enduring conflict with the Israeli occupation of the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. The tension between Israel and Palestine has been deteriorating in years, climaxing with many violent clashes between the two sides. To understand the root of the Israel-Palestine conflict, we have to look back a few thousand years ago. Early history of Israeli-Palestinian conflict. In the 17th centuries BC, following the call of God, 3 patriarchs of the Jewish people, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, settled in Canaan, a region approximating present-day Israel, the West Bank, and the Gaza Strip, parts of Lebanon, Syria, and Jordan. The region later had the name the Land of Israel, the Promised Land, the Palestine region, or the Holy Land. In 1000 BC, King Saul established the Israelite monarchy, which then was ruled by King David, who made Jerusalem the capital of his kingdom, and his son King Solomon, who built the first temple in Jerusalem. After the death of King Solomon, the united monarchy was split into the Kingdom of Israel in the north, with Samaria as the capital, and the Kingdom of Judah in the south, with Jerusalem as the capital. The land became home to a majority of Jews, but then it was subject to numerous conquests of various groups, leading to the significant decrease of the Jewish population on the land. One of these conquests was conducted by the Roman Empire, who gave the name Palestine to Judah, intending to break the Jewish connection with the land of Israel. During this time, Christianity, which started as a Jewish sect, ultimately became a dominant religion toward the end of the Roman Empire. In the 7th century came an Arab conquest, beginning the spread of Islam. The Dome of the Rock was built on the ruin of the Second Temple, making Jerusalem the holy city to 3 monotheistic religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. After Christians in Jerusalem were intensely persecuted by the Seljuk Turks, a Central Asian empire with ambition to expand its territory, Christians in Europe launched several crusades to bring the holy city back to the hand of the Christians. During this time, many Jews were killed. Others were making pilgrimages everywhere, mostly in Western Europe. From the 16th century to World War I, the Holy Land, along with much of the Middle East, was ruled by the Ottoman Empire, an Islamic superpower. The land was unofficially called Palestine. At the same time in Europe, more and more Jews were joining a movement called Zionism, aiming to create a Jewish national state in its ancient homeland. Hence, in the first decade of the 20th century, tens of thousands of Jews moved from Europe back to the region. Israel and Palestine under the British rule. World War I exploded and ended with the collapse of the Ottoman Empire. Its land in the Middle East was carved by the British and French empires. The British then gave more independence for Iraq and Jordan, and the region remaining under the control of Britain was what it called the British Mandate for Palestine, where Britain promised to establish a Jewish national homeland under its Balfour Declaration, which went into effect in 1923. Tensions between the Jews and the Arabs who both claimed the land grew, which even led to acts of violence. By the 1930s, following the increasing Jewish population in Palestine due to the fear of persecution during the Nazi reign in Germany, the British limited Jewish immigration. In response, the Jewish militias formed to both fight the Arabs and resist the British rule. Then came the Holocaust throughout Nazi Germany, which claimed almost 6 million Jewish lives. After the war, more and more Jews then fled from Europe to Palestine to seek a homeland, escalating the tension with the Arabs. Overwhelmed by the situation, Britain began to withdraw from the region. The birth of the Israel state. After World War II, the UN proposed a plan to partition Palestine into 2 independent states, a Jewish state and an Arab state, with the city of Jerusalem becoming an international zone with a special status. However, the plan according to which the Jewish, accounting for only 1/3 of the population, was granted more territory, 56.5% of the land, was rejected by the Arabs. They began to form volunteer armies throughout Palestine. Less than 1 year after that, as Britain completed its withdrawal from Palestine, Israel declared itself an independent state, marking a new, bloodier chapter in the struggle between the Jews and the Palestinian Arabs. The 1948 Arab-Israeli War. Right after the announcement of an independent Israel, a war between the Arabs and the Jews broke out, which was known as the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. The war involved 5 recently independent Arab nations: Egypt, Jordan, Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon, the Arab League, who invaded the region in an attempt to establish a unified Arab Palestine. However, a ceasefire agreement was reached a year later in which more than 2/3 of historic Palestine, including the West Jerusalem, belonged to Israel, while Jordan occupied East Jerusalem and the area known as the West Bank, and Egypt occupied the Gaza Strip. As a result, more than 750,000 Palestinians were expelled from the land where they lived for centuries on the day that they call Al-Nakba, or the catastrophe. With the deteriorated dispute between the Jews and the Arabs, there came more wars and fighting in the following decades. The 60-Day War. It was in 1967 when the 60-Day War broke out after a volatile period of diplomatic friction and skirmishes between Israel and its neighboring Arab states, Jordan, Syria, and Egypt. This brief war ended with the victory of Israel, giving Israel control over the Golan Heights from Syria, the West Bank and East Jerusalem from Jordan, and Gaza and the Sinai Peninsula from Egypt. Sinai was later returned to Egypt under the Egypt-Israel Peace Treaty. After the war, most Palestinian refugees and their descendants were not allowed to return to their homes, but had to live in Gaza, the West Bank, and neighboring Jordan, Syria, and Lebanon. The First Intifada and the Oslo Accords. The rising number of Israelis settling in the Palestinian territories in the West Bank and Gaza gave rise to the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, first founded in Cairo, Egypt in 1964 to create a liberated Palestine in Israel. The PLO launched attacks on Israel from its base in Jordan. It was then forced to move from Jordan to Lebanon, starting to carry out acts of terrorism against Israel. Fighting went on for years, including the Israeli invasion of Lebanon to kick the PLO out of Beirut. The PLO eventually agreed to divide the land between Palestine and Israel, but there were still more and more Jewish settlers moved into the Israel-occupied Palestinian territories. In 1987, a violent Palestinian uprising was ignited, starting from the Jabalia refugee camp after an Israeli forces truck collided with two Palestinian civilian vans, killing 4 of them. This was known as the First Intifada. This bloody conflict, resulting in hundreds of deaths, triggered a peace process with the signing of the Oslo Accords by Israel and the PLO, the Oslo I Accord signed in Washington, D.C., and the Oslo II Accord in Taba, Egypt. According to the Oslo Accords, the West Bank was divided into 3 areas. Area A was exclusively controlled by the Palestinians. Area B was controlled by both the Palestinians and Israel. Area C was fully controlled by Israel. The Second Intifada. Though further peace talks continued in 2000, the Israelis and Palestinians could not reach agreements on issues like the status of Jerusalem, rights of refugees, and the increased Jewish settlement in Palestinian lands. Ariel Sharon, a Jewish Israeli who would later become Israel's prime minister, visited the Temple Mount, home to the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem. The action was deemed offensive by many Palestinians, and the Second Intifada broke out. The violence ended with Israel's withdrawal from Gaza, but continued to settle in the West Bank. Israel conflict with Hamas. Hamas is a Sunni Islamist militant group aiming to destroy the state of Israel and create an Islamic state. After the armed conflict between Hamas and Fatah, who managed the PLO, Hamas split from the Palestinian Authority and gained power in the Gaza. Israel put Gaza under a suffocating blockade, leading to several bloody wars between the two groups in the Gaza Strip, including Operation Cast Lead, Operation Pillar of Defense, and Operation Protective Edge. In 2014, Hamas and Fatah reached agreement to form a national unity government. In 2018, the U.S. Embassy was relocated from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, which was deemed by the Palestinians as a signal of American support for Jerusalem as Israel's capital. 2021, the conflict between Israel and Palestine was reassumed by a series of hostile events in East Jerusalem, leading to several acts of violence until a ceasefire deal brokered by Egypt, Qatar, and the United Nations came into effect on May 21st. Peaceful though it may seem now, the complex and long-lasting territorial dispute between two states is a ticking time bomb that can explode any time.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. If you find this information useful, please give us a thumbs up.
That is the full explanation of what is currently happening between Israel and Palestine. Is basically a war between the Christian community and the Islamic community. But you need to understand that when you come to the Islamic community, there are different types of Muslims and Muslimic groups. So this is what is currently happening there. Let's take a short break, and when we come back, our guest will join us, and he too will share his views on the Occupy Ghana protest that they want to do from 1st to 31st, and also with what Mr. Alfred and Ohine Mahine said, and of course he also conclude on what is currently happening in Israel. Please don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
occasion demands the company of good music that fits the purpose. At GTR Sounds, we understand your need to create just the right atmosphere for your wedding or engagement, party, funeral, crusade, political campaign or rally, or just any other event, as well as executive and corporate functions. With our modern and high-quality spinning machines, mixers, microphones, and power amplifiers, binary speakers, and subs, we offer the highest of sound quality and music play at events and functions. At GTR Sounds, we have a team of seasoned and highly experienced sound engineers who understand just the right choice of music for your events. Locate our studios at Aponchi Hotel in Anya or call our numbers 054-8522-897 or 027-3363-973. You can also reach via our email sounds@GhanaTalksRadio.com. At GTR Sounds, we take care of your event.
Ghana, we now have freedom, but to check like the freedom that we are enjoying is we are being, underprivileged, and we are being mafiaed by some people in government. Welcome to the show, Nana Bakede. What's up? What's up, my brother?
Ras, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Mchacha, one of the producers, at your phone now.
Omunina, Omatipa. We hope say also hoye.
Oh, me managing kakaka.
Ejaiben, there's the economy, the way economy. We get 1,000 cities, cry, it is 100 cities. No.
Easy.
Enough of cry. Now, we nana enra no occupy Jubilee for no penny for no release statement. Say or my imagine say or move betwa we know so protest na so now it's in three places na me pese can be busa question. First of all, almost some person yet the mono from December 1st to 31st. Is that reasonable? For a whole December, now it's a day piamu your protest from 1st to 31st. What is that reasonable? Is that a good thing to do? That's the first question. My second question is they in this protest they are calling for the president to step down or he will be impeached by parliament. Now say when by the end of our protest, not either president or no step down or not so be impeached. Do you think this will yield, or do you think say a bit me are possible, sir? My second question, no. Now, my last one, calling for the stepping down of Bank of Ghana Governor. No, I can't because protest first one, no. Sebi previous I am assembly here. Do you think this whole month protests are holding? It can yield something from there? My questions now.
Okay, my sister. Medase. Na the kind of protest na because no. And say democracy hub, right?
Yeah, democracy.
And Arise Ghana and Inkrofo bimu na umbe that demonstration, no.
Yeah.
So omokasa umbe demonstration from 1st December to 31st. It doesn't mean say demonstration a big jinama kopem the ending of the year.
Okay.
So what they are seeking to achieve, so I'm achieving in the first 2 or 3 days of the demonstration, Krana, on best of the demonstration, and that is the meaning of what they are saying.
Oh, okay.
So if the first day, second day, third day to any of the days, say I'm call for the president to step down. The president, adhere to the protesters' claim, any grievances, any resentment, they will stop the demonstration because they have overly achieved, what they want to, achieve. And for that reason, they have every right to stop the demonstration. Because President and I was still going to see him on resigning. So while resigning, why do you have to continue the demonstration?
Okay.
They will simply stop it. Yeah, they will stop it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think would it yield? Because even the Bank of Ghana governor said what we did was nonsense, and the whole president. Would this really bring us some impact? Would this really bring us some changes?
Well, I must say, sir, demonstration, it is one way Nipa okay to say adibi koso na wo mpesa de na ekoso no na wo mpesa obekuntokwa. For instance, you are in the house with your husband and something has happened and you really don't want to actually take issues into your own house and fight your husband.
Yeah.
And where we have been so both 2 days. You understand? So before now both in a way was send a signal to your husband say really something is really happening. You understand?
Okay.
So that alone is a form of communication to your husband.
Okay.
That is exactly what demonstration is seeking to achieve. So you see, I've always been maintaining say in this country, and I say, if you want to enslave a population, you take away their economic freedom.
Yeah.
But right now, Ghanaians are widely awake. You dare not take us for granted. You understand? Good. And I must also put on record, say, it is not for nothing at all that we have provisions, on the fundamental rights guaranteed by the 1992 Constitution for you and I to decide when and how to demonstrate against any government. Okay. So, yes, Democracy Hub, any Arise Ghana, their move is a clear mark to essentially nurture and to feed and to, survive our democracy going forward. It is a good cause. Okay. Because their cause say China and you have the right to do that. Okay. And the Constitution makes it abundantly clear in Article 21 Clause 1 that as Ghanaians, we have every right to protest, if you like, demonstrate against anything we find inappropriate. Okay. Okay, or untoward. And we have the right to resist oppressors' rule. Okay. That's the reason why Anthem say they should help us to resist oppressors' rule. Yeah. You see, Nyama de Okoso, Nyama Tantan, Okoso, or man we move over the 7 years, Say Democracy Hub, any Arise Ghana, and other groups, Nyama and for that reason, on be demonstrated from 1st December to 31st. They have every right to do that. Okay. So, inside demonstration, say Nyama de Okoso, say more grievances, or more what they want to really achieve, and if it is adhered to, why not they will call off the demonstration because what they are seeking to achieve, it has been adhered. It has been okay. Now, I know, and I am of the greatest conviction that our impending demonstration because will actually, resonate and the political will of our leaders. Okay. And will they will appreciate the need to work in the interest of the citizenry. I've always argued that, you see, good governance is all about making, efficient, effective and, prudent use of the nation's meager resources to reflect in the lives of the people. So if you are a responsible government, you should be able to, you should be responsive to the people you serve. You must be sensitive to the predicament and the plight of the masses. Yeah. But in this country, we are only confronted with, leaders, especially this very government, whose only, call to fame is to think about the next election and not the next generation. Because indeed, if you think about the next generation, you wouldn't collateralize virtually every resource that we have in this country. Yeah. This government have, we're fairly, the government, I tell you on authority, the government has failed. Yes, you wouldn't collateralize over, 24,000 hectares of bauxite in Etiwa Forest. Yeah. You collateralized Edema China for 15 years for only 2 billion. Only 2 billion, Ras. Yeah, the bauxite mineral Etiwa Forest, 24,000 hectares ama China for 15 years. Wo aban no emfe say na wo bedi wakondwa no so a wo de o manager fa de etimi kosi ya wo for 15 years.
15 years.
So these are all questions among for Ebisa, and really it is very imperative to put on record. So nema de question enye, so they have every right to demonstrate, and enye omonkwa na can say abaninsi firm. Even a staunch and a maverick politician, you know, the foundation members of even MPP, somebody like Dr. Nyaho Tamakulu.
Yeah.
Is it today or yesterday? Organti interview. He said emphatically, said the president should step down. He's a foundation member of the party, MPP. They are all disappointed. He's not the only person. Dr. Mwakumba Amuni Ninane, Dr. Arthur Kennedy Munina, they are foundation members of the party. But they are all saying, no, what is going on? Enough is enough. Ella, we are in this country. I did been see down Kwana Banwe, I did been see that regularly. Are you aware? Said this government has succeeded in collateralizing our cocoa receipt. Your cocoa receipt, they have succeeded in collateralizing it. Allowing him say get fund, Ghana Education Trust Fund. Ghana bakose mono. President bien what the get fund akusiawa. Aban way the get fund asiawa. Ajisika. This card bia the ever get fund mubia and your man dia. Kopem se bitua kanawi. Sinking fund. Yemutu. Stabilization fund. Fund that hodwa. President Abraham Abatu now. This government I should say the woman in Nano. But who are the other? I tell you, stabilization fund, you can check. Heritage fund, they collateralize it. Almost, this government has collateralized virtually everything. Do you understand? ESLA, Energy Sector Levy Act, ESLA. Scanner ESLA, deba. I anticipate here. The previous government, every year, they are no. Nanka ESLA, they over 100 million, deba. They collateralize ESLA. Exim Bank, President Rawlings addressed now more an EDIF. So Obekaya, and Mel's name I'm changing called Exim Bank near the other. She can't be a woman in Nabin. You understand? If a man for cancer or more demonstrated against Nema the person, because one demonstrated and now there will be no future for the next generation. I know one po, hey, Ella, and Frama, your home class, collateralize, I'm going to be collateralizing from
I tell you,
and Frama, Edia Jessica. It's very bad. I didn't hear. She said, yeah, what's that? Yet, actually, and Chilman said, go muchy, then Chilman bound be didn't. So we are only thinking about the next election and not the next generation, which is very bad. That's it.
Na your house na yetete say mo say ensase bi wo airport ho omo dia me some companies bi for some years and as some George atie gina so ye no investigation ye wo one or the abeto Twitter na ade. Don't you think say aban we omo be free so na aban for be ba na ehu say aban no omo ton Ghana? Don't you think? Because the way omo de yen sasini yen nyamane jijiji udwe wa unti ase minua dem pa na government way edison sika woni na ya hu ye. Yet it is the only government because maybe in history I stand to be corrected. Oh sika bom sempa so ye nim jomo de aye. What kind of
say so to my na say say if they don't have the political will to save the people now, Sanima winning and CC. The grabbing say. Achimota Forest, what is it?
Yes.
Achimota Forest from Gadisbega Bresso, Ababian Fan and Kanga. Achimota Forest. Now we are in Chibia. Achimota Forest and Sassano, a month for Achafa almost. Democratia, yeah, well, Eddie more money.
Yes, I the only assessor.
Achimota Forest too. I reserve from Gadgettsburg Abreso will be the higher world at the Amanabusia for. So when you're confronted with the government, any and it's what you say, or you're minor for the next generation, now thinking about the next election, all these things come to play. Because airport area, some are okay. And Diana Sassim will back here. When you say that heaven builders, Sanko for now, or more petrol, or more insecure over 60 acres of airport land, they have no track record or whatsoever to develop that place. They have no track record in the business arena, in the economics, in social. They have no track record. When you say, among for Tracy, their credibility near they are there to the extent they say, or more capital, because of the human, over 5,000 cities. Will be an employer by compare what employee need about power more year. Can this person develop, say, or airport area, and this person is seeking to get over 60 acres of the plot out of the over 190 acres? No. Do you understand it? So we will march air so now we investigations we do a joke who say and certainty be a people within government answer was added because heaven builders, on the secure that land, they have no track record or whatsoever to even develop 2 acres of land.
So why?
They don't have the capacity. So I'm going to say they really want to grab everything that we have. So even some opposition, they will still have a feel as they are in government. That is exactly what they are trying to do. And it is unfortunate. Ghana for NTRC, the young person, nobody is going. Because we need to set up.
Yeah.
We need to up our game. We must all rise up for our voices to be heard. Because some of us, do you understand it? That is exactly what we need to do. And this, with this very government, is trying very, very desperately to essentially collateralize everything. Their own collateralizing or their family, friends, and cronies. So that there will be no future for the country. And I dare say, Yamaya Homeless, not Obia, Amana, no, I'm Binima. I'm afraid there will be no future for this country. And because, Nema de Ecosono, Obia, who I want to say, the National Cathedral in Semi. And Kofu Mudi National Cathedral, and then in Kofu, or Mudi was so more Jumano. Look at what is going on. Look at what is going on. Oh, National Cathedral. Si kankasa omode Juma. Approvers are more year. Approvers. When you say now we have budget, 2022 budget, no. When you say more allocated over 80 million to National Cathedral.
National Cathedral, ya can once a mayan can be a who dear quick.
Over 80 million to the National Cathedral. It only took the intervention of the minority to stand up to say, no, Yantiasi. And your minority for them or money brea and Kaoma located another 80 million to the National Cathedral. National Cathedral Mokatre say, and your man's can I be seen, and no man's can a Modica in the National Cathedral. The Ghana one any Asoria Oko. Ella, you must be very careful. We are setting a precedent. There will be a timer in Chidima, that's of far. But we are penny, what you need to do, and say, and Yama went in Yanyano. The brain what created the enabling environment for the next generation to also strive on so that they are meeting a leverage on one casano the potentials and the resources that you've left behind so that they will also capitalize on it and use it for their gains and to save the people. But one the other two so obiton yanka oba beto saade no
ba the obeto and or say no or say
the obeto the ja ho ko ya wo ba ye no se oton achimota forest ana so the woman abusuafo ana se airport residential areas ho no land na e wo a ma reserve other purposes no. So almost ton na almost check the my busuafo ne nafofo and conisa. And can no better lands no. So these are the kind of you see the impunity personified. And we must all make sure say Yebekasa was animal so they be ye between you. Because my dear, if we are not careful, and that this will marry and you'll be affair.
And you'll be affair Nana Yada was saying no pese a time the baby tea my final words na point the program.
My dear, I would say Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Ines Addison 2022 Assembly and American say Oshe Enyema Governor Addison Aya Ama Ene Yeni Yehoshi wo my wimu. My dear say Ufie when Ukunu ni Oma Ufie na say Ukunu mo sase for the na ukoto nyema ba fie na the small obasa oba no emfanko echima oba no your child came back to the house one fanya mamba one fasika amba and then how the be as a mother
ube query no unfanche no
exactly so wonu query oba no opam oba no fie so ade a waye no minute na wo yakora bone na wo no maame na wo no wo so wo ye pani no wo de nema no ko echima na wo de wo ba fie no enema ngitaw sika ngitaw apampa na wo de ko echima so kura nsen ngitaw e de na ukunu de beyo Bank of Ghana issue no be no wo no what banks you have collapsed over 400 banks because of say omunji na yi omunji madi omudi no enye nti what would those banks we leaving nipa over 6,000 jobless up until now omunye adwuma ye now wo Bank of Ghana no you being the lender of last resort wo no we are responsible to ensure the monetary oversight no what in your book over 60.8 billion and what are then I have you I hope you understand the scenario.
Yeah.
We no Bank of Ghana no. So we no what's your banks now? So you are the bankers' bank. You are the mother of all banks. Now so we no book over 60.8 billion. Our allocation over 55.1 billion negative equity. Negative equity. She say we need car It's very simple.
Yeah.
We need car You don't have money to operate. This is one about this Saka we are. Then a Ghana for final. Ghana for say I was here hooligans. Is this an ambed?
All right, Nana. Yada say Neso sa joining ye.
Thanks for having.
All right. And dear Busia for I don't know make us say Common Bank of Ghana governor it me catch say ye hooligans say ye demotiana and it was for me dedicating you way mama lemuntie dear. You can't say Bahama never, but Bahama come back. Where the Abusia for? Where the idea? Sakofa, Yeti. And I want to be for joining us right here on today's, episode of the Political House Show. Your comments can buy your body power, say more fire as other baby. I mean, you're coming forcing. I say hi, all trust Ghana is still fucked up. I say we need airport residential area land. Please, any connection, Nana? As I said, that Caswaka, mini connection. I say Ghana needs to be bent so that we can all use the ashes of the foolish partisans people to fertilize the soil to grow corn. Hey, I'm ready. It's a good show, Nana, and the host. Well, I'm the Jamokwai. And the myself from that was say someone join me. Catch you same time. Monday 12:30 right here on GhanaTalksRadio. Monkana subscribing to your YouTube channel and to our Facebook, and of course share this story. And I may have done my next week. Bye bye. Bye bye.